Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing another Hermes questions and answers video. I think that I'm now up to number 4. So I'm thinking that with each of these videos, depending on the length of each question, I'm probably going to try and stick to around about, say, 12 to 15 questions maximum, because as you know, with my channel I always go into detail. I'm completely honest and transparent with everything. I'm pretty much not going to give you the short answer on anything, because when it comes to Hermes, most of us want to know as much information as possible because it is a very mysterious brand. Before I dive into today's video, if you are new to my channel and you love luxury, especially if you love Hermes, I think that you would absolutely love this channel. So do hit that subscribe button below and also the bell so you can be notified when I upload new videos, which is twice a week on a Wednesday and on a weekend. Now, I received a lot of questions on my last... Actually, no, I received a lot of questions from my first questions and answer video. And then the third one I uploaded was still questions that I had that I was receiving like across the board in YouTube and Instagram. So this video is from the questions that I got on the YouTube videos and then some that I also got in Instagram. Because I received so many, I'm going to try and go in order. However, because we're up to number 4, there is a particular question that I just want to answer first, even though it's not really in the order of all the questions I got. And the reason I want to answer it is because I know I'm going to keep getting asked about it, and I am still currently being asked about it to shed some light on it, share my opinions. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to answer this first and get this over and done with. But basically, I have been asked in a multitude of ways, but I'm going to read out the questions, and it's kind of a summary. Okay, so anyways, here it is. All right. The question is, Isabelle has uploaded a video speaking of her special order. What do you think about it? It sounds like it could be possible for you as well. So if you're not familiar, Isabelle is Isabelle's Style here on YouTube. She is a fellow Sydney sider. She is actually also my friend as well. So this is going to be an interesting one to answer. And the other question I also got related to the similar topic here. The question was, another YouTuber, she's referring to Isabelle, got to do a HSS at Sydney. She didn't seem to have much spending history and she has had a shorter journey. Can you comment? Also, how much purchase history do you need to do a HSS? There is a lot of questions in that, but this is still the same sort of topic. And because I feel like I will have a tendency to answer all of it within the same answer, I've kind of put them together, but I am somewhat going to break up my answer the best that I possibly can. All right, so the first part of the question is, what do I think about the fact that Isabelle got to do a special order, and do I have some optimism now because she did? Firstly, I want to say that obviously, being that she is my friend, I do have to give her a big congratulations. I have already said that to her, but I just wanted to say it as well on my channel because she is a very, very nice lady. She's very friendly, very kind-hearted, very down to earth. So she is very deserving of getting this special offer. Special order. There is no doubt about it. She's a fantastic candidate for it based on her personality and knowing her as well. There is something that I sort of want to say that kind of answers this question, what do I think about it? You know that I think she's deserving. I've addressed that part. It is complex when it comes to answering this question because I don't want to give any personal information that she hasn't shared exclusively on her YouTube channel. I think that that would be unfair and dishonest to our friendship. So I'm only going to comment based on what she has actually shared on YouTube. So that way the information is already there. I do know for a fact, and I'm sure she would have no problem with me sharing this, is that her sales associate is actually very, very humble and quite kind. Sorry, the lighting probably changed. I had to get up and let my dog out. He was just going to consistently tap at the gate. Okay, so what I was saying, her sales associate is very humble and he's quite kind, and he is one of those few sales associates that you will encounter, and they are hard to find, where you'll actually get some empathy from them. And the reason that I say that this is quite rare to find is because sales associates, client advisors, customer service, whatever you want to call them, they are still people at the end of the day, but they also are there to do a job. And they have training that they have to go through in order to do their particular job, and they get a lot of requests every day, especially in Hermes, for Birkins, Kellys, Constance. They get a lot of pressure, people asking them. I know I'm one of them. I ask often-ish, I suppose, maybe every couple of months or something like that I might ask. So they get a lot of pressure, and it can become quite, you can get kind of over it, you know, to some degree, and you can get frustrated with it because you, obviously if you could, you would fulfill their request, but it's just not that easy because there are, you know, there's also like a stock, high demand, and there's also principles that come hand in hand with being a sales associate that you have to follow. Well, policies, I should say, that you have to follow. But what I noticed about her sales associate, and I also do know him. I think she might have already said that. I hope she has. But yeah, I do kind of know him. I've seen him in the store before, have spoken to him. He seems like a really nice guy, and I know like a lot of them do as well. But I just, based on some of the things that she told me, he seems like he has empathy where, and the thing I can actually say as an example is, she said that she kept asking for the color cray, and she was being very specific. So he kindly looked up in the system to see whether or not they had a Birkin 25 in cray coming in, and they could see that there was coming in. So he told her that, yeah, he would get, like when it comes in, he would try his very best to get her that bag. But unfortunately, it was the two that were coming were allocated to other clients. So look, it is a hard fight for the sales associates to get bags, I can tell you that. So those two bags were allocated to other clients. So this sales associate of hers asked the store manager, he said, look, you know, these other bags have been allocated to other clients. You know, I'm not quoting her word for word, but this is pretty much what she said. You know, the sales associate said that, you know, to their store manager that these bags have now been allocated to other clients. And, you know, I kind of told my client that I will do my best to get it for her, but looks like I haven't been able to. You know, what are the options? So the store manager has said, well, it's SO season, it's special order season. So why not offer her to do an a la carte? You know, so that way she can get the bag that she wants and she can just custom order it. So she was pretty lucky in that sense, where this SA that she has is empathetic, kind of felt bad, you know, that he couldn't come through with what he said. He told her he was going to try and get her a Birkin 25, and then it didn't turn out. So he was able to at least find a resolution to the problem and get her a special order offer from the store manager. So that shows to me that he is an empathetic guy. That's a very good thing. It is hard to find that, and it's not, and that's not to say that all sales associates should be like that. It would be nice in a perfect world, but you have to put yourself in their shoes. They do get a lot of requests. It can be a very hard job sometimes. It can feel robotic, repetitive in the sense where you're constantly being asked and you just can't fulfill the customer's requests, and you feel like you might be letting people down. So sometimes you have to kind of be a bit stern and a bit like, the kind of responses that I sometimes get are, I'm sorry, I know that, you know, you're wanting your dream bag soon, but there are a lot of clients waiting. I hope you can continue to be patient. That's kind of the responses that I get from my sales associate, okay? And I can't blame her for that. Truly, I can't, because it is a pretty hard job in regards to the pressure that they get. I think I've kind of answered that part, and I wanted to just put it in perspective. I just wanted to put that into a bit of perspective here, that we have a sales associate, that Isabelle has, sorry, that is quite humble, kind, a lot of them are, but is empathetic, and that's the key part here. The other things that I kind of want to talk about is, obviously, you know how I feel about it. I feel happy for her. I think that she's a great person. Obviously, the downside to it is that, would I love to get a special order? Duh, of course. I would love to be able to do a special order. But there's something I also want to break down for you as well. And she has said this on her channel. I believe it was in her tips when she spoke about getting the special order. And she also has done YouTube reveals on items as well. And if you look at her YouTube reveals of her items, and I'm sure she's not going to mind me saying this in a summary because she has revealed them on YouTube, she has bought in pretty much, well, she has bought in every single category when it comes to Hermes. She has kind of appeased the brand policy or brand you know, kind of guidelines that they like from their customers when it comes to showing loyalty. They like for their customers to shop in every single category. So she's shopped in small leather goods. She got some Rodeos. I believe that she said she also has Calvi or something like that. I know she has another like leather goods item. She's got shoes, so she bought in the shoes category. She bought in ready to wear. She bought a cashmere dress, a beautiful cashmere knitted dress. She bought in fine jewelry, so she has the Collier de Chêne rose gold ring. And then she also has some homewares. So she's got the Avalon blanket. I think she may have a pillow or some pillows or something like that. Don't quote me on it, but I know she's definitely got the blanket because I've seen that. She's also got the mosaic tray. And I think she may have another homeware piece that I may have missed. I haven't gone back and watched too many videos. But yeah, so she's pretty much bought in every single category. Oh, and also fashion jewelry. She has lots of click H's. She has a lot of click H's. I think she's actually sold some of them because she just didn't need like 10 click H's up her arm. But she has bought in a lot of categories. She's also bought boots as well. So Oran's boots. So yeah, in long story short, she has bought all across the brand. There's pretty much not one single category that she hasn't bought in. She's also bought silks as well. So she's bought in the silks category. So yeah, she's bought in every single category. And that is a big, big tick when it comes to Hermes, because that shows that you appreciate absolutely everything about the house. So that definitely helped her in regards to the store manager approving the special order request, because the store manager has to approve it, and he would have looked at her profiles, because this is a process. He would have looked at her profile. He would have seen that she bought in every single category, and that's a big, big tick. So that would have helped her in order to secure a special order. Obviously, the root of it comes from the sales associate. He put her forward to request, and the store manager approved it. If it wasn't for the sales associate, she wouldn't be in this situation of being able to do the special order. So a big kudos to him for actually at least putting her forward and having some empathy for the fact that he couldn't come through with the first original proposed bag. Another thing that I wanted to address, because obviously one part of the question was she doesn't seem to have as much spending history and she has had a shorter journey than me. Technically, we have both had the same duration of journey. She's been shopping at the store since 2016, and so have I. So we both have actually had the same duration of journey. We both started in 2016. We both have gone through many sales associates, no doubt about it. So that's something that I also wanted to point out, is that it looks as though she has a shorter history, but she actually doesn't. We're both the same. And that's why we get along really well, because we both have pretty much parallel journeys. It's just that I got into wanting to get the dream bags before she did. So that's the only difference. Spending history is also, I would say it's pretty comparable. She didn't reveal how much she spent before she got her Magnolia Kelly, but to be fair, it was what she spent pretty much from 2016 all the way through until she got the offer in early 2020 anyway. So she had a long journey just to actually get that bag, and that was because she didn't ask for a bag until late 2019, her first dream bag, but she had spending history up until then. So when we actually nutted it out, our spending history is the same. It's just that I go from point to point between bags. So that's, and I'm very, like, I kind of say everything on my channel anyway. So it may seem like my spending history is more, but in a nutshell, it's actually pretty much the same. She has already revealed with her reveals what she had bought in between the two bags. And again, our spending history from when she got her Kelly 25 in Magnolia up until the point that she got to do her special order. And for me, from the point of when I got my Birkin 30 up until currently now, our spending history is also the same. Another thing to also note is that Isabelle has only got one bag from the Sydney store. That was her Kelly 25 Magnolia. So in my situation, I've already gotten 2 bags from the store. So that to kind of give you a bit of an idea as well. She's only gotten 1 bag, and she was, you know, had kind of met the requirement, so to speak, to then get her next bag. But unfortunately she wanted something that was very specific and a very sought after color, cray. So that's how also as well it did make it a little bit easier for her to get the opportunity to do the special order bag. The other thing too to note is that it is actually a little bit easier to get your first approval to do an a la carte special order. That is because they do actually try to spread the love around as best as possible. I know that it does seem like they do prioritize on VIPs and elites and stuff like that, but they do somewhat try to sort of spread the love around. So yes, there are people that do get subsequent special order offers, but somewhat they do try to spread it around a little bit. So getting your first approval is a little bit easier than getting the second, the third, and the fourth. in regards to how much purchase history do you typically need to do a HSS, you know what? You see it from with what's happened with Isabelle. She's been able to do one. It really isn't, there isn't a rule of thumb. There is no rhyme or reason when it comes to Hermes. Typically, they always will reward the VIP, VVIPs, and the elites. Those people you will see often get to do special orders. Sometimes they get to do one every year. There is 2 special orders that you get to do per year. There is one in February and then there's one in September. So there's 2 periods where there's that offer, that option available, and it's only offered to a certain amount of clients. Each store only has a certain amount that they can do. Spaces are very limited as well. I'm not sure how many clients get to go through for each period for the sale, for the special orders, but it is irregardlessly quite limited, and that would be a very obvious given. So there is no answer for me to say this is how much purchase history you need, because it can differ. There can be circumstances that change the outcome. So yeah, I would say if you are a baller, if you're rolling in cash and you can drop about $100,000 a year, not including bags, then you're probably going to have an okay time being able to get a special order every, you know, once a year, maybe every 2nd year or something like that. But you know what? There are people that spend more than $100,000 in the store on items that aren't handbags, and there is quite a lot of them. So I might be saying the amount of $100,000 AUD, and you might be thinking, that is insane. Who the hell spends that? But you know what? There is a fair amount of people that do that. So, yeah, that's just to kind of put it into perspective of what the competition is like. I know someone who spent $110,000 in a year. She managed to score a Birkin, a Kelly, and a Kelly Pochette. I think it was a Birkin, a Kelly Pochette, and a Constance, sorry. That's what she scored in that year, and she spent $110,000 on mostly fine jewelry and stuff like that, and watches and that. So those people that have money, you know, exist, and they shop at Hermes. Most of the people that do have a lot of money want to shop at Hermes. It makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? So if you can do that, you probably have no problems with getting a special order. I mean, and you can say, oh, that's not fair, like to the people that have money, they can shop a lot, you know, that's not fair for everyone else. But you know what, at the end of the day, if they're very loyal to their brand and they're spending like their extra cash at Hermes, then technically it is fair, because they could go and take it to Chanel or something like that, but they might be spending most of their extra cash at Hermes because they love the brand, or they're very loyal to it and that's where they want to shop. So in a nutshell, yeah, they do deserve it as well. If I were to give my personal opinion on it, I think that people who really appreciate the leather craftsmanship, the artisans, the roots of the house, and don't just buy bags for status to show that they have the most expensive bags, but they buy them because they really appreciate that craftsmanship. They appreciate the entire beauty of it, and they know the history, they understand it. I feel like those people deserve it as well, and that puts me in that category. But it is what it is. All right, it is what it is. So I don't think I can really answer that question, how much purchase history do you need? No, I don't think I can answer it, because you're either rich or you love the brand and you just get lucky based on circumstance, okay? All right, so I'm not going to answer that anymore. That went on for quite a bit, that answer, but at least I've kind of nutted it out. I've done, so that way I don't have to be asked about it anymore, okay? I was asked a question. Someone was saving up to purchase like a special order bag in the resale market, and it was, the outside was the color gold and the inside lining was pink. But then she also seen the same style of bag, I believe, and it was in ostrich, and it was in a pink color, but it was $5,000 more than the first bag that she was looking at. And she asked me what was the better investment option. So the HSS bag that she was looking at, being gold on the outside, pink on the inside, was a leather bag. And then the other bag that she came across, let's say for hypothetical sake, it was a Birkin 25 and it was in pink. Let's say it was like, I think the current pink is like a Rose Deer ET or something in ostrich, but it was $5,000 more. She wanted to know what is the better investment option. And if we're just answering the question based on the investment option, I personally feel that leather bags are always the better investment option, because into the future, we just do not know as to whether exotics are going to be sustainable, or as to whether people will find exotics acceptable anymore. Even so, there is a fine line at the moment as to whether people still think that exotics are acceptable in the luxury market. It's starting to become quite questionable. There has always been people that frowned upon it, always, but I'm noticing that now, as things change, generations change, that exotics are not perhaps as acceptable as they once were, maybe 10 years ago. Things are starting to change. So I personally feel as though a leather Hermes bag is a far better investment than that of an exotic bag. And the counter to that would be that, well, if they're potentially going to discontinue exotics in the future, wouldn't it be better to have the exotic because of the fact of the rarity? That is true, but if exotics become something that everyone frowns upon and it's like, it stands out like a sore red thumb and people look at you and want to throw paint at you or something, like what if it gets to that kind of scale? Then your investment can only sit in the cupboard looking pretty, and your investment could probably only be resold to other people that want to do that, have it in the cupboard being pretty, or have bodyguards around them. Okay, so I know that this kind of answers it in a bit of a crazy way, like crazy into the future what could happen, but that's just my personal opinion. I feel as though leather bags are just always going to be around, because leather, the justification with leather is that it's a byproduct of meat. Cows, bulls, you know, more typically humans are probably always going to consume meat. So whereas exotics becomes questionable, and exotic animal, like animal skin for exotics, are typically farmed for the purpose of making handbags as opposed to being farmed for the purpose of human consumption and eating. So that is why I would always say a leather handbag over an exotic, my personal opinion. The next question is, hi Mel, I love your videos and the contents. They're very interesting. I'm writing to you from Italy. I'm an Hermes lover like you. I have picked up from my local boutique a special order Birkin in gris asphalt Togo with palladium hardware. I have noticed that the Hermes print is not as defined as it is in my Kelly bags. Now this is actually a very important question, because Togo is a leather that tends to behave differently because of the fact it has a very prominent grain, and sometimes it even also has veining. So I'm going to put a picture up on the screen of her special order stamp, and you'll notice that it doesn't look very obvious. Also, palladium, the silver stamp on gris asphalt, they're kind of in the same color family. So you've got a gray colored stamp, silver stamp, on a very gray bag. So I've got gris asphalt here, for example, so that's the gris asphalt color. In Togo, it looks a little bit more darker, but on my Kelly in particular, because it's Swift, it does press quite well, and it does show up pretty well because it's a smooth leather. So it does show up pretty well on my bag, being that it is a smooth leather, but still when you look at it, it still kind of blends in. It's quite monochromatic with the tone of the gray leather. So even that being said, you can already see why the stamp may look differently. And then on my Togo Birkin, you will see the stamp is in gold, but on the actual grains of Togo, because it's quite a prominent grain, when they press in, and they only press in once, sometimes the ink won't deposit as much on a very grained surface as opposed to smooth. But you see on mine, it kind of looks like there's less color deposited over here, a little less color deposited just on the end there, and that is exactly the case because it is Togo. So they've pressed in once, and it looks like it's become more heavy on the inside with the press, and the stamp's gotten caught a bit on the grains of the Togo, so it's a little bit lighter on the sides. Really what the answer is to this question is that Togo, because of the grains, may affect the actual heat stamp on your bag, and it is very, very common. Don't think that that is any cause for alarm, because it's just the grain from Togo. But whereas on Swift and smooth leathers like Evercolor, the stamp actually looks a lot better. Okay, so the next question is, how am I enjoying the Kelly To Go? So I did reveal that I managed to pick up the Kelly To Go bag. I purchased it online, and I did actually buy it. It was back in I think it was about July or something like that, but I didn't reveal the bag immediately. I'm ahead in my scheduling when it comes to YouTube. A lot of the time, some of my videos, I do postpone them. But yeah, the Kelly To Go, I have actually rehomed it, only recently rehomed it. So I gave the bag a go, no pun intended. I did give it a go, and I did try it, and I did use it. one of the resellers I had bought from before. I bought the Kelly Dance Invert Cricket in Evercolour from O.B.S.G. And obviously when I bought this bag, I knew that there was a very likely chance that I would then need to rehome the Kelly to go. So when this arrived, I compared the two, and it was quite obvious that this was going to be the better bag for my lifestyle. However, if you want me to comment on the Kelly to go, I can give some feedback for it. Definitely doesn't work well if you have a very large car key fob, which I do, and it didn't fit in that. And if I were to put it in there, I pretty much couldn't put my phone in. I couldn't put my phone in at all in the Kelly to go if I had the key fob in there. You had to choose one or the other, unfortunately. This bag, I don't have any issues whatsoever. I can use everything. All my essentials fit in here, plus a little bit more. So this is a great bag in contrast to the Kelly to go. However, the price point is very different. This retail is about 10,650 Australian dollars, and then the Kelly to go was like 6,075 in Epsom. So it's a very big price difference. You're paying a lot more for this. I even paid more than that because I paid a premium. But to comment on the Kelly to go further, like I said, it's a very small bag. For the price of it, I think it's somewhat reasonable considering that the Kelly Classic wallet is about $800 cheaper, but then you can't put the strap on it in a standard way. So I think that it is a good buy if you actually like the Kelly wallet and you like using it as a clutch. However, I actually think the Constance to go is the better buy between the two. However, the Constance to go is more expensive. It's about $1,000, I think it's like $1,400 more expensive than the Kelly to go. So I don't think I would be repurchasing a Kelly to go bag. I did find a way to actually use it with the key fob and the phone. I just had to hang the key fob outside of the bag, but it's not a great look. So I think the Constance to go is the better way. I do know that you can actually fit more on the Constance to go because it does have a back pocket. It's also a bit wider, but what makes it more easier is actually the closure on the Constance to go. Because it's that H buckle, you just kind of have to close it over and press it down, whereas on the Kelly to go you had to pinch the sides, so you had to pull the sangles on the Kelly to go to actually close it. So let's say, for example, open this up, you'd have to pull this tight to get it pinched in at the sides just to close it up. So that meant that you were very constricted into how much you could really fit inside, because if you couldn't pinch the sangles in, the bag wasn't closing. You'd have to leave it open. It wouldn't close at all. The next question is, I have a question in regards to an Hermes color. By any chance, do you know what this color is called that is referred to as grey elephant? The answer to this is that sometimes people refer to grey elephant as Etan, but Etan is actually a translation to tin. That's what it means in French. But I have heard the term before, grey elephant. They tend to refer to Etan as like grey elephant because it does actually really look like a grey elephant. Like the color of Etan really reminds me of that. Oh, another one is that also grey seagull is actually the reference to gris mouette, because the translation for a gris mouette is actually grey seagull. So the next question is, do I follow Michael Costa, head of Hermes France? I actually don't follow him, and the reason I don't follow him is because even though I have respect for him and his position at Hermes as the head of Hermes France, I just don't like the whole photos all the time with like celebrities and stuff like that, and like really like high-end people, like high rollers and things. I don't know, that kind of puts me off a bit, because I feel like the way that I feel about Hermes is that it's a brand that really resonates with me. I really appreciate the craftsmanship. I have a lot of respect for the artisans. My respect lies with the artisans and the history of the house, the equestrian history of the brand, the creators, the founders, how they've kept this brand private. They haven't sold it off to like LVMH or anything like that. So I have a lot of respect for the brand. And sometimes when I see like just constant pictures of people like celebrities, you know, billionaires and stuff like that, I kind of feel like that's just paints like a picture that Hermes is only for the elite. It's only for the people that are super duper rich and famous. It's only for them. It's not for other people. I don't like that kind of picture that it kind of puts across. And I know that that is just because, I mean, celebrities want to probably take photos with him, and he's so well known that he probably is fine to take photos with them. And I know that he takes photos with other people as well, people that are middle class, people that love the brand. He does do that too, so I give him a lot of kudos for that. But I just see a lot more pictures when it comes to being with celebrities and billionaires and stuff like that. And yeah, I just don't really like seeing that. I believe that the brand is for everyone. personally for me, I'm middle class. I have to save really hard and work hard to be able to afford my Hermes bags and my items and that sort of thing. So yeah, I think that the brand is for anyone, and for anyone who appreciates and loves it, then yeah, it's for you. It's not specifically for any kind of class bracket. It's not just for the rich or anything like that. So that's the reason that I don't follow him. I just don't want to always see those, like the celebrities and things like that anyway. But otherwise I have a lot of respect for him, and I follow all the runway shows anyway, so the content that he posts on there, sometimes I do go in and have a look, but I just don't follow because I just don't want to always see those feed posts. I just want to go through and look for what I'm looking for. But yeah, moving on to the next one. Do you mind me asking for your opinion about Clemence leather, as I just got a Birkin 30 with Clemence leather a few months back, and it's been my first score at Hermes. I really love it, especially in the color Utoupe, but I'm concerned about the leather as I saw many Clemence Birkin that are a few years old and kind of out of shape. May I know your opinion? What should I do with this bag? Should I keep it? Should I resell it? First thing I want to say is that, because she's used the word resell, I think that that's I would say if you're thinking about reselling a bag, don't get it. Just don't. Don't ever buy a bag with the intention to resell it. That is not a good thing. It is bad, and Hermes does not want people doing that. They don't want people to resell their handbags. I think it's different if you buy it, you use it, you have the intention to keep it, but it's just not working out. That's a different thing. To me, I feel like that should be okay. However, Hermes is getting quite strict now. They are starting to catch people, even for genuine people that are reselling just used items and that sort of thing. So I would say if you're thinking of reselling it, just don't go for it. So that's my answer in short to that part of it. Don't resell it. However, in regards to the leather Clemence, yes, it does slouch more than the other leathers. It's the one that's known to slouch over time, and they can start to look out of shape over time. However, I can say that if you actually look after the bag in terms of shape, and I am going to say this, that you do need to go ahead, and I'm saying yes, you do. You need to go ahead and get one of the 7 Rue Paradis inserts for the inside of your bag, so that way it can actually really help to retain the shape. So yes, this is a Togo bag. Togo does slouch over time as well, but Clemence does do it sooner. However, Togo will do the same thing as Clemence in due course. It just takes that a little bit longer, but to prevent that, use the 7 Rue Paradis insert. It'll help with the shape. If you use the 7RP insert from the get-go in your Clemence Birkin, I can pretty much almost guarantee that you will have no issues in regards to it slouching and losing its shape. The other thing is that I have a Swift Kelly. If you actually look at Swift bags pre-loved, they tend to lose their shape as well, and they look really terrible even after like a year. I have seen it. Again, I've got an insert in my Kelly 25 from 7 Rue Paradis, and I have had this in the bag for almost a year now. I'd say about, yeah, almost a year actually. It's pretty much been 12 months, and it has made wonders to actually retaining the shape of the bag. You wouldn't even, like, for a Swift bag, it is so, like, look at it. It holds up on its own. It's not like slouching. It's not misshapen. Like, I'll take it out so you can really see what I'm saying. So as you can see, look at that. Like, it looks really, really good. And this is Swift leather. It's a very soft, buttery leather. It's known for losing shape, just like Clemence does. Same thing. This will do the same thing as Clemence, but it's retained its shape just because I use these 7RP inserts. So you obviously already know I have a coupon code with 7 Rue Paradis. Well, if you're new here, you probably wouldn't. But yeah, I have a coupon code. You can get €30 off using the code POF30 at checkout. If you need 2 inserts, you can use the code POF70, and then you'll get €70 off those 2 inserts. But I really, honestly, just get the insert from the get-go. If you are using one of these inserts from the very beginning, I can almost just certainly guarantee that you will not have the issue with slouching on your Clemence Birkin. There are some other tips that I have. I'm going to do a video of do's and don'ts for your Hermes bags. So there are a little bit more tips when it comes to like storing, like whether you should be laying them flat, standing them upright. But I can just tell you now, just get the insert. And leaving the insert inside the bag when you're storing it is going to make all the difference for that lifetime of that bag. And 10 years time, I bet you it's going to look way better than all the other Clemence Birkins that don't use the 7RP insert inside to help with the storage. Another question that person asked is that, also I noticed that you don't remove your hardware seals. I currently still have mine on too, but I've heard that it's actually better for the hardware if the seals are removed. May I know your opinion about this as well? So I have actually spoken about this in some of my videos before. I think I may have spoken about it perhaps in my leather care video. I know I've brought it up before anyway. Basically, it's okay to leave the stickers on as long as they aren't peeling. However, once they do start to peel back a bit, you will need to remove the stickers, because once the peeling happens, you can actually get dust underneath, you could get moisture trapped underneath, hair, anything, like all kinds of elements could get trapped in the sticker, and they'll just continue to wedge their way into the sticker, and that's what can leave tarnishing. It can tarnish, it can discolor the hardware. So also as well, any humidity, moisture that gets underneath the sticker and stays underneath will definitely tarnish the screws. That's usually the one that gives first when it comes to tarnishing. So even if the sticker is on top, if it's not flush in any way, if there's any kind of gap, like for anything to creep in, that's when you're exposing the risk of potentially tarnishing the hardware. Personally for me, I pretty much remove the stickers on almost everything. I actually just removed the stickers on my Kelly Dance. Basically, I removed it because the stickers were starting to peel off, like on the toggles here, on the plates. My Kelly 25, I've got the stickers off everywhere except on the turn lock. And that's because my stickers, because in newer models now, they have the stickers where they don't sit over the top of the screws. So the screws get air and they're not like exposed to moisture and stuff getting trapped underneath the stickers. But if this started to peel, then I would more than likely just take it off. But I am keeping a very close eye on it. If I see anything kind of starting to discolor, I'll take it right off immediately. My Birkin, I have some like hardware stickers that I put on the plate that, you know what, I'm probably going to take them off, because I can see that the sticker that I put on, there has like hair has sort of been trapped underneath it, or like dust or something, and I'm just not going to take that risk. So I am actually going to take that off right now. It's just not worth it, you know. If that, there's a chance that that dust could start to discolor the hardware. But this was an aftermarket sticker that I got from Protego_BYK, I think it is. Their feet, however, I really recommend. The only bag that I leave hardware stickers on is the Constance, because I really hate how big the Constance buckle is and how prone it is to getting scratches. Especially when you're closing the bag, you can scratch the buckle too. So that's the only one I try to leave stickers on as long as possible. But once they start to really peel and lift off, I just change them over. Right now on my Constance, because it's for sale, I haven't changed over the sticker, but I'm keeping a very, very close eye on it just to make sure it's okay. But yeah, if I were to keep that bag, I would just change over the sticker with another aftermarket one. But I have to really do my best to try and make sure that dust doesn't get underneath when you're putting the sticker on. I'm going to end this video here because my son is making a lot of noise and I need to start getting ready for bed. So I'll do another question and answer video and get to some more questions, because I do have quite a lot that I need to get through. But today's video was just spent a lot of time obviously addressing the first question, address the elephant in the room, because it had just been kept being asked about it. But if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Feel free to leave your questions in the comment section down below, or DM me on Instagram and I will address them in another Q&A video. Okay, thanks guys, bye.